Hey guys, Lee Sell here with the Crawlspace Ace, and today I wanted to talk about one of these questions that I get asked all the time, and that is, will an encapsulation improve the value of my home? Will it improve the value of your home compared to what you pay for an encapsulation? I would say no. And the cost of encapsulation is pretty high. I do not believe you will see that value increase in your home when you go to sell it. But things that it will improve is one, it will improve the curb appeal of your home when you go to sell it. So one, you won't have home inspectors coming in and saying, hey, you got all these problems in your crawl space. You got water, you got raccoons in your crawl space, what have you, mold, wood rot, stuff like that. So all that's going to go away as soon as you encapsulate your crawl space. One of the number one reasons home sales go poorly or get canceled is because issues in the crawl space. So you're eliminating that. The other thing is that the big thing I see with it is you're not losing value in your home. So if you don't encapsulate your home and 10, 15 years from now, you go and that's when you decide to sell your home. Well, 10, 15 years from now, if you don't encapsulate your home, you could be losing value in your home if that wood rot's getting worse and worse and your floors start sagging, stuff like that. So you're not losing value in your home. And in that case, you could see that value when you go to sell it. So will you see the immediate return of the money you put into your crawl space? No, I'd be surprised if you did, but you're still going to see that added benefit of encapsulating your crawl space. So honestly, an encapsulation itself doesn't add any kind of R value for your house. So right off the bat, most guys just say, no, it doesn't help insulate your house because it has no R value. And they are correct. It doesn't have any R value. But if you look at it as you're sealing off your crawl space, so you're obviously everybody likes to close their vents in the wintertime to keep that air from flowing into their house. It's kind of the same concept. You're sealing off that crawl space and not allowing any of that outside air into your crawl space that's gonna affect the efficiency of your home. So it doesn't help improve insulating your home. I mean, it doesn't technically insulate your home, but it helps make your home more efficient. Especially if you have ductwork that runs through your crawl space. That ductwork inside your crawl space is going to put off radiant heat or radiant cool, however you want to call it, and that's going to stay in your crawl space and kind of, I mean, it's not going to completely condition that crawl space, obviously, but the radiant heat is going to help heat up that crawl space, and instead of cool air seeping up from your crawl space into your home and losing that efficiency in your home, it's kind of, you got warmer air traveling up, or cooler air in the summertime. So R value, no, but it will help make your home more efficient. Things that you can do to add to your encapsulation that will improve R value or insulation for your crawl space are you can do foam board insulation. Though if you don't have a tall crawl space, one where the foundation walls are good height above the ground level outside, foam board insulation probably isn't a good fit because you want to block the air travel from the outside on that block, and when that block is underground, you're already kind of insulated anyway. But other things you can do is rim joist insulation. One of the number one areas where air travels from your crawl space into your home is through the rim joist. So if you insulate those rim joists, that's going to help improve the efficiency of your home as well. Other things is adding bad insulation between your floor joists. If you do that, I suggest putting up the encapsulated insulation. That is just going to be your standard bad insulation wrapped in plastic. It just helps keep the moisture out of that insulation. In Western Kentucky here, it rains a lot, so there's very, very few houses where I've done an encapsulation without a sump pump system. And that's only if I see a crawl space that shows absolutely no signs of water intrusion, and that's very rare. It rains a lot, and as soon as that water starts traveling into your crawl space, it's hard to stop it from getting in there. So the reasons you need that is, I mean, you can put that barrier down and you can tape all the seams with your waterproof tape and seal everything up as much as you can. And if you do seal it up really well, and you still get water intrusion, you can try to go down there one day and all of a sudden you got a water bed down there, and all that water is just trapped underneath. And if you do have any kind of pinhole leak in that liner or any crack in that liner anywhere, that water's going to find its way on top of that liner, and then you got a pool under there. And so when you get water under your crawl space, obviously that's what we're trying to prevent when we encapsulate, is moisture issues. So if you're not preventing that water intrusion from coming in, then you're at risk of having those same moisture issues that we're trying to prevent when we encapsulate. First off, when we run sump pump drains, we don't run the drain out through one of the foundation vents or anything like that. We will drill a hole in the side of the foundation and run that pipe out. We'll seal up around that hole, make sure it's sealed back up, and then we will run that pipe outside the crawl space, back down into the ground, and then run it out away from the house, far enough away from the house to where that water, when it comes back up, it's not going to seep back into the crawl space. Anything other than that, it's kind of up to the homeowner where they want it to be drained at. I usually go 10 to 15 foot away from the house, just like I said, to keep that water from cycling back into the crawl space. But if a lot of the times I have homeowners that want it to go to a certain place out by a tree or out to a drainage ditch, something like that. And anything like that is possible. If we do come back up into the yard somewhere, what we usually do, this is actually a demo of one of our gutter downspout extensions, but this is the pop-up we do at the very end. Same thing for the sump pumps. So when the water comes out, this little center will pop up, the water will flow out, and when it's done, it'll pop back down. It stays nice and flush with the ground, so you don't have to worry about it when you mow. It's a good little pop-up for whenever you put it in the yard. It also has a little hole here at the bottom, so when it does, I mean, when you have to come back up, all the water is you're not going to get all the water out of there, because once it stops, eventually it's going to sit back down in the bottom of this, and so that hole is to let it slowly seep out. That way, in times when it's freezing temperatures, that water's not sitting in there and freezing, it seeps back into the ground, and you don't have any issues. Some people don't even know you need a service plan when you encapsulate your crawl space, and if you are getting your crawl space encapsulated and the company who's doing it doesn't offer any kind of a service plan, then you need to be asking questions, because when you encapsulate your crawl space, and a frequent service is required. I mean, you got a dehumidifier under there, and a lot of dehumidifiers have condensate pumps to pump that water away, and then most of them have a sump pump, and all those need to be serviced or checked either annually or biannually. So if you're not able to get into your crawl space, or you just, even with it encapsulated, you just don't want to get in your crawl space, then a service plan would be ideal to sign up for. So what happens in a service plan is at least for us, we go in there, we're going to check to make sure the sump pump's working. We'll clean it out if need be. We get in there and we'll do the same thing with the pump for the dehumidifier, clean it out. We actually throw a tablet in there to keep the water fresh and keep Zuglia from building up in the condensate pump, and that is just a bacteria that tends to build up in those condensate pumps. And then also service the dehumidifier by checking the filter. They have washable filters, so we'll wash them and clean them out. And if it gets to a point where it's still not cleaning it enough, then we'll just go ahead and replace that filter. But these things need to be checked either, like I said, either biannually or annually, just to make sure everything's working and to extend the life of your dehumidifier and sump pump. And lastly, we have a 30-year warranty with our encapsulations. And when you sign up with one of our service plans and we come out and inspect, as long as your dehumidifier is under 60% humidity, every time we go out and check, then you also get a 30-year mold-free warranty with your encapsulation. So we're given a warranty against mold and wood rot as well. And if we get there and your dehumidifier is above 60%, then we'll check everything and figure out why that is and make sure there's no mold anywhere. And once we get that dehumidifier back down, once we get that humidity level back down below 60%, then the mold warranty will continue. The short answer is yes. I have so many people that fight me on this, or other companies I hear constantly saying, oh, well, you don't need a dehumidifier in there. Once you seal it up, then the humidity levels will go down. And that's just not true. You can seal it up as best as you can, and that humidity is going to find its way in one way or another. I mean, I've had companies say that just the leaks out of your HVAC system is going to be enough to dehumidify your crawl space, or they'll put a vent in there and they'll call it a conditioned crawl space. All these are not good options for dehumidifying your crawl space. So conditioning your crawl space, that's a pretty common one. In some way, in the short term, it kind of works here and there, but the problems with it is one, in the swing seasons like spring and fall, when your HVAC system isn't running all the time, or a lot of people turn them off and open their windows or something like that, then they're not getting any kind of airflow in that crawl space. And also those are usually rainy times of season, or rainy seasons, and so if you're getting any kind of water into your crawl space, and then you're just adding that moisture in your crawl space and you don't have any kind of airflow. And when you seal all those vents off and you don't have any airflow in there, then you get stagnant moist air, and that's even worse than just letting that humidity flow in and out with open vents. So yes, you do need a dehumidifier with your encapsulation. It's not only just made to remove the moisture, unlike an HVAC system, which its sole purpose is to heat or cool your house, and in turn it helps dehumidify your house and stuff like that. But that's not its sole purpose. Where a dehumidifier, that's its sole purpose, is to remove that humidity from your crawl space. It also has a powerful fan that blows hot, dry air out the back. And so you're getting a good airflow in your crawl space as well as dehumidifying it. So we install April Air dehumidifiers in all our encapsulations. And per April Air, they said it ranges right around $10 to $15 a month to run a dehumidifier. But if you look at it, when you run a dehumidifier in your crawl space and you're removing that humidity in your crawl space, you're not getting that humid air that seeps up into your house. And when you have that humidity that seeps into your house without a dehumidifier, then your HVAC system is working harder and is less efficient. So you're going to be running up your your bill with your HVAC system without a dehumidifier. So once you put a dehumidifier in there and everything's running more efficient, then it's costing less to run your HVAC system. So it really kind of cancels out. So a lot of our customers don't even notice any kind of raise in their energy bills when we install dehumidifiers in their crawl space. I hope that answers your question on that. And if you have any other questions, feel free you can email me at thecrawlspaceace@gmail.com or go on our website at www.the-crawlspaceace.com, and you can fill out a contact form and contact me through that. Thank you.